Alright. It might not have wheels, but I am driving a logistics truck. So, welcome back to another long delayed episode of Grinding Gears, where I talk about all the things that I don't like, all the things that grind my gears, specifically in the publishing industry. And this time I'm going to talk about something that is entirely my own opinion, and that I have mostly avoided thus far simply because I didn't want to kick the hornet's nest and get myself banned, blacklisted, what have you. So that would be the lack of inclusivity for the sake of inclusivity. So while I'm digging this fob, like my squad leader wanted, I'm going to complain about it. From my perspective, having been chasing down, attempting to chase down agents so that agents could find me publishers. And I believe I already talked about how I don't think agents are a necessary middleman and the gatekeeping and all that, so I won't go there again, any more than I already have. A lot of them have the typical, your story's got to include BIPOC or LGBTQ or some other minority protected class group something. And that's almost universally the norm, which I'm all for those minority people, the minority people getting representation and, all kinds of the fairness. I'm down for fairness. I'm down for all voices being heard. Free speech and all that. But I feel like this has become, or gotten to the point of, the exclusion of all else, including myself. Oh, I'm not driving this time. I'm stuck in the passenger seat. And we're picking up some blueberries. So, I have another announcement that I will make in the future that will be a little more official and scripted. And this ties into that. But, I'm just out to tell a good story for the sake of telling a good story, because it's in my head and I need to get it out of my head, so I'm writing it. But because it doesn't necessarily include minority ethnicities and obscure sexual orientations, I am 60% of the time. So it seems 60-ish% of the time where I am excluded or told outright, yeah, don't even apply, or don't submit to blah 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 agent because you don't have boxes 1, 2, 3, and 7 checked in your manuscript, because you don't have a gay character, you don't have a transsexual character, etc., etc. And I actually do have a gay character, but not for the sake of having a gay character. That gunfight is really close to us. I said they're in there as it's important to the plot, when they're relevant to the story. And not being shoved in for the sake of having them. And I feel like all of the agents are either not taking submissions or requiring one of these many acronym type things. And as I said, I'm totally down for that being in the marketplace. First Amendment, everybody gets to say whatever they want to say. But from my experience, I don't know, those tracers look closer to you than to me. Anyway, before I get blasted by a helicopter here, long story short, this has become so serious, prevalent, significant, whatever you want to call it, that, other less intentionally inclusive voices, such as my own, because I'm just telling a story for the sake of telling a story, and the bigger problems of the story, being galactic genocide and interplanetary politics, is a bigger point. It is the reason for the story. It's the central thing. And the characters themselves, while, important and relevant to this, as they provide the medium to tell the story, their feelings about it aren't so important. It's not character driven. It's lore driven, plot driven. I forget whatever term they like to use for it these days. It just feels unnecessarily complex, and I'm tired of dealing with it. It's grinding my gears that, while, totally valid to be offering these people a place to speak, everyone that isn't one of these people isn't being allowed to speak anymore. So there. I guess I have to start recording, because I said my bit, and I don't have a vehicle to drive anymore, so I'm no longer grinding gears. I'm just way behind enemy lines with this one random squad lead, and it's just he and I. We don't have anything. So it's going to get real hairy here in a second. Read more books. See you in the next one.